Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Ranking Member. I think this is an extremely important discussion, and I want to get a few things straight before I move on. I think, Ms. Phillips, you were talking about the non-fraudulent improper payments that were made. Did you say that we have not disaggregated what percentage of those of the overpayments were fraudulent versus um, non-fraudulent, accidental?
So thank you, Representative Moore, for that question. Um, the ETA 227 has no demographic information. So there is
Demographic.
no disaggregated demographic information. It is broken down by what type of improper, non-fraud improper error code a state reports on that quarterly report. And
But we do know which ones were
we know what
which
is a
ones were
claim-
fraudulent
Yes.
versus improper payment. And what
Non-fraudulent.
percentage is that? That wasn't clear to
So
me.
I only have, anyone could look at the information state by state or nationally, but I can only speak right now to Illinois' numbers. And in 2023, as I mentioned just a minute ago, I just want to make sure I'm completely accurate here, that 62% of Illinois' total improper payments, total overpayments were considered non-fraud improper payments.
Mr. Taylor, would you agree with that? I probably should have asked you that. What percentage of these payments were improper and other part fraudulent?
It depends on the state, Representative Moore. There was a wide variety of disparity when it comes to what we would call first-party and third-party fraud. Third-party fraud being the stolen identity, ghost, substitute,
Yeah,
apply.
yeah.
First-party, improper, collective.
Well, the reason that I've just burnt up so much of my time on this, Mr. LaHood, is because I just think our committee was focusing on this as if the majority of these payments were fraudulent. And I mean, thank God we made these payments because I think it was Ms. Phillips that said 64% of folk live paycheck to paycheck. And we know what people were doing 4 years ago. I mean, they were maxing out their credit cards, hoarding toilet paper, and so we want to just be clear that it was important. I mean, all of you would agree that despite the fraud, which is terrible, that we saved people's lives literally by providing this benefit. Ms. Townsend, your reemployment work strategies. I mean, I'm very impressed with your ability to get people back to work. It's a model that everybody is to look at. But I'm wondering if what we used to say that you bite your hand to spite your face or whatever. Haven't we found that states that did a remarkable job of avoiding inflationary problems over the years reduced staffing and then found themselves in this situation where we had an emergency and they just didn't have the staffing in place as a punishment almost for their doing so well in getting people unemployed? Did that's so I'm wondering if any of you feel that the formula maybe punishes states that do a good job. Maybe I'll ask you that, Ms. Phillips, and also, yeah, go on.
Well, I think I'd go back to Mr. Rademann's comments earlier that the way the resource justification model works is that when there's a low demand for unemployment benefits, that is also a low administrative amount of money that states have. And so you can't fix the roof during that time. So that's one point. But I also want to comment on the workforce aspect, because as a former fellow UI administrator, states across the country are working on the RESEA program, and that most administrators believe that the UI program is a temporary, it's a trampoline, but the people that are eligible to apply for UI are workers and they want to get back to work. And most state agencies are working on
Can I ask
that
something very
employment
quick
piece.
before I get
Mhm.
cut off? Do we see instances where there are barriers to applying to unemployment? I mean, like the state has taken the position that we don't want to provide this benefit. And so many more people who are eligible and need it don't get it. And that also lowers the numbers and sort of masks the need.
Representative Moore, I can really only speak from my experience in Illinois that there's no preventing people from applying, but I think we know, especially through the pandemic, the challenges that any UI claimant faces in applying and the administrative burdens that they face on online applications, on certification processes, on other documentation that they need to provide. I know I'm over time, but one of the things that I cannot unsee is I observed these live claim filing observations, and I watched people from 5 different regions in Illinois apply, including an older woman, 76-year-old woman from downstate Illinois near Carbondale, who was struggling mightily. She came into the office because she couldn't apply online. It wasn't working for her. There were many different blockades that I won't go into, but there are improvements that can be made to the actual application process.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, for your indulgence.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. I recognize Mr. Smucker.